Uh, Alfredo Pareto, he gave the 80-20 rule, very common in all the business schools. He was an Italian economist who said 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. He was studying the land ownership of lands in Italy, where he said 80% of land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. And he went in his backyard where he found that the number of peas, 80% of the peas were in 20% of the pea pods. And when you divide the wealth of the top 10 richest people, Warren Buffett, Carlos, and Bill Gates, the top 2 have similar wealth as the rest of the 8. So this division and this chaos, and why you will always find in society that there is everyone who will say, why should I fight this problem? This is a generational problem. How can I'm not capable. I'm not in that position to fight poverty. I cannot do anything. I'm not in a power position. I cannot fight climate change. Because I'm not in a power position. But in the same society, you will find certain people who will disagree and who will say, let us fight climate change, let us fight poverty. They do not have that power, but this disagreement is what has maintained and preserved the society. There's something called tyranny of small decisions. This is what the government does. In my state, in Jammu and Kashmir, there have been policies after policies where the government comes with such great policies, and for 5 years, after 5 years, there's a policy, there's a report which is done that was this policy effective or not, do we need a new policy? And every time this happens, this has been happening for around 40, 50 years there, and nothing has changed. The tyranny of small decisions is, no matter how small decisions, how correct those decisions are, but collectively they produce an outcome which is totally contradictory to something that we intended to make in terms of decisions. Again, because I come from a background of Pashmina, now I am an activist. There was an American slang called market for lemons. Lemons was a slang for second-hand market, second-hand cars in US. The concept was that in America, no one would, if you're an owner of a good car, you would not put that car in the second-hand market. And which means that in the second-hand market, if you buy a car, the car that you will buy is not a good car. Meaning that the good cars are not in the second-hand market. Meaning the bad cars are forcing the good out. So it is a concept where the seller knows more than the buyer. Market for lemons, that when you buy lemons and bring them home, you find that the lemons are not good. So this concept in Pashmina, I'll relate to it. I'm talking about these concepts because these are the ones which drive me to do what I do now. Again, I spoke about this. Free riders. If there is a car service between the campus and the airport, and if somebody is running that car service, and if there are free riders on the bus, suddenly you will find after some time the car service breaks down. There's not enough to sustain it, and finally it's a concept. And Diner's dilemma in game theory, it is that if everyone who wants to, as an individual, if I go to a restaurant, I'm dining there, and my budget is 100 rupees. But when everyone goes, as a group, when we go there and we want to, I have this thing in mind that maybe I'll be in a position to buy and order expensive food, which I don't buy when I go alone. Because the value will be split between the friends. What happens is that when I go there, I don't realize that everyone is thinking that way, and finally I end up paying a higher price for that meal. So that is where I do not realize that when everyone is whatever I'm thinking, everyone is thinking that way, and there is a tragedy that happens.